Muy bien, fantástico. Espero que ustedes estén bien. Hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are well. Uy, hace frío. Cold.
Sí.
Bien, bien, bien. Bueno, quiero saber primero, first I want to know, I want to kind of do this as a follow-up or cleanup, I guess, however you want to look at. Any questions on this topic? Because this was a topic that kind of puzzled people, and we covered it last week, but I want to just know if there are any follow-up questions you have on the difference between using me gusta versus me gustaría, which is kind of a thing.
Couldn't we just do a thumbnail review of it? I read it and I think I have it, but I want to make sure.
Okay. Bien. The main thing with the me gusta is we use this. This is like your all purpose. Yeah, you use it for uh talk about liking to do something, liking specific types of things, all right? But a lot of times people wind up and I'll be honest, sometimes instructors use this too. I still find videos. If you want to order, we have this tendency in English to say the idea of I would like. And when you ask any translating machine, AI, ChatGPT, I don't care, whatever it is, and you plug in, how do you say, I would like a beer. I would like, I would even like a menu. They translate it as me gustaría, and that is true. However, we do not use me gustaría to talk about ordering things in a restaurant. We do use it in the sense to talk about activities as a hypothetical. So that's how me gustaría is appropriately used. So even though you will see some people putting out me gustaría as here's how you could order, most people find that a weird thing to say for ordering food, right? Uh, you can use me gustaría principally with an activity. So the appropriate way to use me gustaría is with an infinitive following it up, not with a thing. That makes sense? See? So whereas you can combine, perdón, you can combine uh, me, me gusta el café. I like coffee as a general statement. Yeah. Do not say me gustaría un café. I would like a coffee. Yeah. Me gustaría tomar un café. That would be okay.
Why?
Because it's me gustaría tomar. I would like to drink.
That's not unique to tomar. It's just because it's an infinitive, correct?
It's because of the tomar that it's okay. Yeah, it's because of the tomar that it's okay because I can do this. Me gustaría probar el sushi. I would like to taste some sushi. It would not be okay to say, me gustaría sushi, por favor. Me gustaría un plato de sushi. Because a lot of people interpret me gustaría as a hypothetical thing. And with an item, it's like the whole thing of, I would like to be a millionaire. Well, yes, I would too, but I'm not. So use me gustaría with an infinitive to talk about doing stuff, but don't use it to order food. So for ordering food, the I would like, if you do a Google Translate, it will give you faulty stuff. These are the alternatives for I would like a coffee. This is why you've got this last page, because they don't use I would like with a thing. They use I would like with an activity, meaning an infinitive. Make sense? See?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So if you, yeah, don't Google I would like a coffee and then take me gustaría because that sounds to them. I mean, will they understand you? Yes, but it will sound kind of weird to them. In most situations, yeah. And these are the alternatives for saying I would like something, right? And the only thing we've got a me gustaría is this example with the infinitive tomar. Me gustaría tomar un café, por favor. Yeah, that one is okay because of the word tomar. Because of the tomar, it is okay to pair it with me gustaría. But you would not say me gustaría un café. Okay? Sí, Cindy.
I know you said not with food, but can you do me gustaría comer? No, to
Me
have.
gustaría comer, I would like to eat, yes.
Mhm. So, or me gustaría.
Because, oh, I'm not eating now, but I would like to do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. Anything you would like to do. Me gustaría works great with that. People understand that perfectly, and that makes sense to them. Yeah. So, okay. Bien.
Gracias.
De nada, de nada, de nada. Bien. Okay. We'll take that off the list since we've made sure we've got that. Excelente. Adelante, adelante. Oop. Moving forward. Okay. I want people to start some easy conversation. First, my game plan for class today is to do our conversational thing based on the video. We'll see if you had any questions about the video, and then our conversation based on the video. And then we're going to dip into, because we had question words last week, we're going to take the two troublesome question words, which are qué and cuál, and devote a little bit of time to that. So that's the plan for today's class. And any questions you've got in the middle, in between, perfectly fine. So what I want to know first is, was there anything about this video where you had a question? She did a lot. It was a very easy walkthrough. She uses a lot of pictures to illustrate what she's talking about, but mainly she was talking about routines, things she does in a normal day or week. And that's where our speaking theme will roll out of. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any kind of question about what she said or used in the video that caused you some difficulty?
I had a quick comment. I was she actually was speaking so slowly that I turned it up to 1.5 times and could still understand.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
She is not a native Spanish speaker, but she has a very good presentation style and a
I
very good
agree.
accent.
Mhm. Yeah, she does. Yep.
So, and it's the presentation style that matters. Okay, vale. En el video, la presentadora nos contó, she told us about, nos contó de las actividades diarias, las actividades cotidianas. Cotidianas es como diarias, de todos los días, ¿sí? Cotidiana es una palabra como diarias, ¿sí? Diarias, daily, pero se dice en español también cotidianas, ¿sí? Las actividades cotidianas. Vale, bueno, por ejemplo, y voy a engrandecer esto un poquito más, sí, que está, qué está? Porque ella habló de lo que está cerca de su casa o de su apartamento, ¿sí? Que está cerca de tu casa. Bien, hay en mi barrio donde vivo, ¿sí? Estoy cerca de, de pleno desierto. I'm right next to honest to goodness desert. And después de una cuadra, estás en el desierto. Pero también, ah, ah, hay un parque que se usa principalmente para, los partidos de fútbol para los niños. Hay un parque que está cerca de mi casa, ¿sí? La casa que se usa para fútbol, para los chicos, está cerca de mi casa. Y hay mucha gente que, hay mucha gente que pasea con los perros también en el parque. Bueno, ¿qué está cerca de tu casa? What's near your house? No tengo tienda cerca de mi casa. Sí, ok, bueno, sí, bien, Jean.
Sure. Una montaña está cerca de mi casa. Voy a la montaña 6 días en una semana. I didn't know how to say the word hike. Is it caminata?
Sí, dar una caminata.
Okay,
Give a hike. Se
got it.
usa, sí, doy una caminata. Es dar una caminata es to hike.
Okay,
Hiking.
Caminar es simplemente to walk, ¿sí? O andar también.
andar. Okay.
Sí, los dos. Hay dos palabras para walk.
Mhm.
Y pasear, to stroll. If it's leisurely, it's pasear. P-A-S, instead of pasar, Pasear, pasear. I should put these up on the screen so that you can see all the different varieties, because all of these are very close in meaning. Caminar, andar,
Andar.
pasear es más lentamente. It's slower. See, pasear is kind of more like stroll. Y dar una caminata. Dar una caminata es con más fuerza. Yeah, hike is a little more forceful, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Bien, sí, Jean.
So if I wanted to use the noun hike instead of saying to hike, could I say es una caminata pequeña para mi casa?
Es una caminata, sí. It's a
Okay.
short hike. Sí,
Okay. Got it.
eso, sí. Perfecto. Bien, sí. Caminata no es el verbo, es el sustantivo. It's the noun, sí.
Mhm.
Bueno, a ver, ¿qué más? ¿Qué está cerca de tu casa? ¿Hay alguien? Anybody else with something that's near your house? Sí, Cindy.
Sí, um, Trader Joe's está cerca de mi casa.
Ah,
Yeah.
Ah, Trader Joe's es un supermercado, pero más pequeño, ¿no?
Sí,
Que
verdad.
es un supermercado como muy favorito de mucha gente. Sí, me encanta Trader Joe's, sí. Y tienen vino por poco, sí, con precios muy razonables, sí. Bien, tienen vinos muy económicos en Trader
Mm.
Joe's. Tienen muchos vegetales
Sí,
en Trader Joe's, ¿sí?
y Y vino también.
Huele, sí, huele muy bien. It smells good, ¿sí? Cuando entras en Trader Joe's, cuando se entra en Trader Joe's, huele como muy fresco, ¿sí? Ah,
Flores. Flores aquí. Right
y
there.
sí, sí, también, claro, bien, bueno. Ah, bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Qué está cerca de la casa? ¿Hay
Okay.
algo?
Oh, Sam. Okay.
Sí, Sam.
Okay. Tenemos una farmacia, CVS, una
Ah,
supermercado Basha, and a reserva sonora cerca de nuestra casa.
ok, bien, bien.
¿Qué es reserva? ¿Nada?
Reserva sonora.
Ah, the Sonoran
Sonora
Preserve.
Reserve.
Sí,
Reserve. Oh, gotcha.
sí. Ese parque, sí, de Sonora también es muy popular, sí. Ah, como, como soy aficionada de montar en bicicleta de montaña,
Oh, yes.
es un lugar muy popular para andar en bicicleta.
Right.
Muy popular y muy interesante, ¿sí? Hay senderos, there are trails, ¿sí? Hay
Mhm.
senderos ah, como casi infinitos en
Right
la...
across the street.
Sí, ah, fantástico. Bueno, hay algo, hay más comentarios. Sí, Marcos.
Ah, nada está muy cerca de mi casa. Por ejemplo, por ejemplo, el restaurante más cerca está 3 millas de distancia.
Sí. Oh, interesante, Marcos. Sí. A way we can say it's about 3 miles away. Sí. Está a. Usually we hear está en, ¿sí? Como por ejemplo, hay, las casas están las casas que están en mi barrio, las casas que están en mi barrio, the houses that are in my neighborhood. And usually we pair estar with en. But if you want to say it's at a distance of, a short way, an efficient way to do it is to use está a. Está a 3 millas. It's about 3 miles off. See? Or you can pair it with minutes. Está a 5 minutos. See? Bien. Once in a while, if we want to say something is at a certain distance, instead of it's in a location, it's estar a. Excelente. Muy bien. ¿Hay otra o hay otro comentario con que está cerca de tu casa? Adelante. Adelante. Bien, 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 bien. ¿A dónde vas en tu barrio o en tu ciudad? ¿Sí? Muchas veces durante la semana. Y la clave, the key here, la clave sí, muchas veces, muchas veces. ¿A dónde vas en tu barrio o a dónde vas en tu ciudad muchas veces durante la semana? No solamente de vez en cuando, not just once in a while, pero muchas veces durante la semana. Oh, sí, Julie.
Voy al gimnasio y contesté pickleball muchas veces durante la semana.
Sí, excelente. Sí, sí, sí. Sí, hay una cancha de pickleball que está cerca de mi casa. Ahora, sí, es una cancha nueva de pickleball. Muy bien.
I can
Bueno,
offer.
sí, Jean.
Sure.
Okay.
Estoy un miembro del Club de Moon Valley, which I think is by Luna. Y voy al club muchos días en la semana, 5 y 6 o 6.
Ah, eres miembro, you're a
Ujú.
member, eres miembro, sí,
Ujú.
sí. Con muchos gimnasios necesitamos una membresía, we need a membership, una membresía, ¿sí? Sí, y entonces somos miembros, then we are members. Bueno, a ver, sí, los gimnasios son populares, especialmente en enero, los gimnasios son populares, ¿no? Después de los propósitos del nuevo año. Muy bien. ¿Hay algo más? ¿A dónde vas?
I've got one. I can do one.
Okay.
No, nada.
Oh,
Danita.
okay. Voy al centro de la ciudad 2 veces por semana para hacer voluntariedad.
Para ser voluntario.
Voluntario, ok.
Sí. Voluntaria para mujer, voluntario para hombre. Sí. Bien, bien. Perfecto, perfecto. ¿Hay algo más de a dónde vas? Where do you go? Sí, Cindy.
Sí. Trabajamos como voluntarios en un centro de refugiados todos los martes.
Sí, sí. Bien, bien. Excelente. Buen trabajo. Buen trabajo. Muy
Ujú.
bien. ¿Hay algo? Sí, Sam.
Okay. Voy a Trader Joe's e Costco 3 veces por semana.
Sí. Excelente, excelente.
Can I give you a list?
Sounds like you
No,
need a
Puedo
bigger
darte mi
refrigerator.
lista de compras, mi lista de compras, ¿sí? Ah, ahorita hay una lista de compras en mi cocina de mi familia, ¿sí? Una lista de las cosas, ¿sí? Siempre voy al súper muchas veces durante la semana, porque si alguien quiere queso, leche, fruta, tengo listas de comida, listas muy largas con
I
todo
think
tipo de comida.
I think you both need larger refrigerators.
we do. We do.
La verdad, sí, tengo un refrigerador, una nevera bastante grande. Bien, bueno, ¿hay algo más con a dónde vas? No, adelante. Adelante. Ok, rutinas de la vida, ¿sí? ¿Qué haces todos los días? Todos los días, every single day. ¿Sí? Another way to express that, if you need a different phrase instead of todos los días, is to make día singular, and change it to cada día. Cada día means each, which is synonymous for every day. So you can express this idea as todos los días, plural, or cada día, each day, every day. ¿Qué haces todos los días? Cindy, sí.
Me levanto temprano, hago café y estudio español cada día.
Bien, perfecto, perfecto, muy bien. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Qué más?
I got one.
Sí, Andrew, bien.
Camino rapido 4 miles por día.
Ok, sí. Yo cocino o preparo algún tipo de comida cada día, ¿sí? Preparo algo nuevo, preparo algo fresco, todos los días, ¿sí? Bien. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más?
Cepillo mis dientes todos los días.
Sí, sí. Eso sí, muy bien, muy bien. Limpio un poco, limpio una parte de la casa cada día, ¿sí? Limpio la cocina todos los días especialmente. ¿Qué más? Sí, Marcos.
Cada día leo mi correo electrónico.
Perfecto. Sí, leo mi correo electrónico. Muy
Mm.
importante. Yo también. Sí, sí. Excelente. ¿Qué más? What else?
Mi esposo,
Colección música. Oh, I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Colección música.
Oh, uh, ooh, uh, I collect music. Ah, colecciono, sí, o elijo, o busco música. I look for. Sí. Busco música para mi colección.
Ujú.
Busco música para mi colección. ¿Sí? ¿Bien? ¿Entiendes? Bien. Jean.
Sure. Mi esposo y yo caminan en nuestro barrio todos los días.
Ustedes
Ujú.
caminan, sí, todos los días, sí. Mi esposo camina casi todos los días, casi, almost, casi todos los días. Bien, ¿qué más? Adelante, aquí. ¿Qué haces una vez, una vez a la semana? Una vez a la semana, solamente una vez. Julie, sí.
Cocino la cena por mi familia todos los domingos.
Buena práctica. Bien, bien. ¿Y, y guardas los platos en la nevera después? ¿O en...
Entiendo.
Bien. Am, ok, por ejemplo, conozco a una mujer. Ella cocina un día durante el mes y pone los platos en como bolsitas de plástico
Ah,
en el congelador, en the freezer. ¿Sí? ¿Haces algo así o no?
no.
No.
Por
No.
mi familia, mi hijas y sus esposos y mis nietos.
Sí,
Todas
para
las familias.
la familia. Sí, 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 para toda la familia.
Sí.
Bien, bien, excelente, excelente. Bueno, ¿qué más?
I've got one.
Una,
Voy de compras para mi vecina una vez a la semana.
bien, excelente. Entonces,
Sí.
ayudas a tu vecina una vez a la semana. Es excelente, sí. Bueno, ¿qué más?
Mi esposo y yo van a la iglesia en Scottsdale todos los domingos.
Vale, sí, un día,
Ujú.
los domingos, sí, bien, bien, vale. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Hay algo más? Anything else?
Mm.
Sí, Cindy.
Entregamos flores a trabajadores del hospital,
Oh,
atención domiciliaria y estaciones de bomberos para agradecer a los trabajadores por su trabajo.
Bien, bien, muy bien. Excelente. Es una manera de decir gracias, ¿sí?
Ujú.
De expresar, ¿sí? Ah, ah, algo para agradecer, ¿sí? To thank, agradecer a la gente, ¿sí? Bien. Bueno, hay algo más una vez, ¿no? Ok.
No,
Ah, uh, ¿Qué haces solamente durante la mañana? Yo tomo café solamente durante la mañana. Si tomo café más tarde, No, tengo problemas cuando quiero dormir. Sí, en el invierno, cuando hace frío o hace fresco, ah, después durante la tarde tomo té
Okay.
herbal, infusiones, pero durante la mañana solo tomo café. Algo más. Anything else?
Mm, mm.
Mañana. Ok.
Sí, Cindy.
Hago ejercicio por las mañanas.
Para mucha gente la rutina de hacer ejercicio sí es durante la mañana.
Ujú.
Sí, muy lógico, muy lógico. Bien. Depende, sí, sí, especialmente si estás jubilada o estás jubilado, ¿sí? Hacer ejercicio por la mañana es normal. Muy bien. ¿Hay algo más durante la mañana?
Yeah. Hello, Sam.
Sí.
Okay. Uh, tomo de 3 a 4 tazas de café todas las mañanas.
Wow, tres
Ah,
o cuatro.
Cuatro.
Wow.
en la mañana.
Mi
Every
límite.
day. Every day.
Wow. Mi límite es 2 tazas. Wow. Wow. Mucha cafeína, Sam. Mucha.
Mucho cafeína, yes.
Bueno, ¿hay algo más para la rutina de la mañana? Oh, adelante. Durante la tarde, durante la tarde. ¿Qué haces durante la tarde? Sí, Julie.
Voy a comprar comida durante la tarde.
Ah, sí.
Excellent.
Sí.
Leo mis libros y toca mi piano en la tarde.
Oh, tocas el piano.
Sí.
Tocas el piano durante la tarde. Muy bien, muy bien. Bueno, ¿qué más? ¿Hay algo diferente? Normalmente durante la tarde o por la tarde, yo planeo la comida para la cena. Bien. Adelante, ¿qué hace solamente por la noche? Solamente por la noche. What do you do only at night? Veo películas solamente por la noche. ¿Sí? Veo como películas o programas o vídeos de YouTube con la familia solamente por la noche. ¿Hay algo más por la noche con ustedes? ¿Qué haces solamente por la noche?
Okay.
Sam, ¿sí?
I'll go, yeah. Okay. Hold on. Bebo una taza de té latte de vanilla.
Ajá.
Oh,
A cup of tea.
Bien, bien. Y no es café. Buena idea. Muy bien. Algo más. Anything else?
Yo toco la guitarra.
Excelente. Sí, bien. Tenemos dos músicos. We have two musicians. Bien, por lo menos. Sí, Cindy.
Okay. Mi esposo y yo jugamos cartas, Wordle, Mahjong y otro juego de palabras todas las noches.
Excelente. Sí. Bien. Ah, Buenas ideas. ¿Algo más o no? Ok. Adelante. Adelante. Oh, we did have a different video. I want to put this on hold for just a quick second because I want to do a review before we do that. Okay, so our little drill there was to work on just using some simple verbs, right? So that everybody, no matter what your skill level, uh, could have something to contribute. Bien. Casi se me olvidó. I almost forgot because we swept this into our big conversation picture, but you did have another listening video. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Any question we need to clear up with this video? They were just talking about manners of travel.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah,
and this one will not be as easy a level as what you had with Kasha in the first one.
It wasn't.
It was
Okay.
harder, right?
You noticed that.
I was
Yeah.
glad to learn the verbs to pack and to unpack because sometimes I seem like I'm doing that a lot.
Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Empacar can be to pack. Also, people sometimes use the phrase hacer la maleta. Hacer la
Hacer,
maleta. To make the suitcase. That can also mean to pack, but desempacar is to unpack. Desempacar. That des thing is a helpful little prefix that, makes something negative or, do something in the opposite direction.
Can you remind me? I was just thinking on there, I know wasn't one a maleta is a suitcase, but there's a different word for luggage, and I didn't write it down.
Equipaje, sí,
That's it.
equipaje. Sí, claro. Oops. Let me write that down so
Yeah.
that you know the difference. La maleta is suitcase. And it's a, one offer kind of thing. If you're talking about the collection of all your gear, you bring all the stuff, more than one suitcase, or let's say your suitcase and your carry-on, any combination of the stuff that you packed to go on a trip is referred to as el equipaje. El equipaje es luggage. So it'll talk about the collection of all the stuff you packed. And we've got the same difference in English, yeah. Whereas your luggage, somebody assumes you've got more than one bag to take, right? You will also sometimes hear this term, el equipaje de mano, and that would be kind of our equivalent to a carry-on. Equipaje de mano is something you're just going to carry in one hand. And that's where we get the de mano part from. Yeah. That will be a carry-on item, right? You may also hear people using the term bolsa or even bolso in the masculine. It kind of depends which region you're in, but bolsa most commonly. Bolsa is just a bag,
Yeah.
but it's a very generic word for, you can use bolsa for a plastic bag. You stick some leftovers in. You can use bolsa for the bag. If you take a bag to the grocery store for packing for that, you can use bolsa for your purse. You can use bolsa for many. Yeah, but that's a very generic bag term. Okay, see, me? Oh, perdón. I think I forgot to put that on share. Let me pop that up so that you can see it. Bien. So all of these terms can refer to something pertaining to what you pack your stuff in when you go on a trip. La maleta, el equipaje de mano, your hand carry-on, and bolsa or bolso. ¿Sí? Bien. Was there any other question you had about that Idiana, their thing, besides the luggage thing? That was a good question, Jean, because yeah, it's just there are subtle differences in vocabulary.
New words. Yep.
Anything else or no? No? In? Okay. Vale. Let's take a couple look at some of the questions we had related then to the travel ideas in the video. ¿Cómo prefieres viajar? ¿En avión? ¿En carro? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo prefieres viajar? How do you prefer to travel?
Ah,
¿O no te importa? Aquí no es tan común viajar en tren, ¿sí? Como en Europa. En Europa es muy común viajar en tren, pero aquí no tanto, ¿sí? Quizás si vives en Nueva York es más fácil tomar un tren, pero aquí no es fácil tomar un tren. ¿Hay una preferencia? ¿Any preference o no?
yo,
Sí,
El
Cindy.
viaje.
yo prefiero viajar con avión. Y
Ok,
el avión, sí.
bien.
Me también.
Sí, ¿tú
Me
también?
también.
¿Tú
Ujú.
también?
Me
Ok,
también. Yeah.
ok, ok. Bien. ¿Alguien? Sí, Marcos.
Well, por menos de 6 horas, prefiero conducir.
Ah, sí.
Para un viaje más largo, prefiero viajar en avión.
Sí, manejar por más de 6 horas es mucho, ¿sí? Manejar por 3, 7, 8 horas es mucho.
I just to just to share. For 6 hours from here, you can get to like Las Vegas, Palm Springs, and to fly to Vegas, you might save an hour because you got to get to the airport, park, wait for the plane goes. Then when you're there, you get the baggage, rent a car. It might save an hour. So that's where my 6 hours comes in.
Sí, sí, sí. Como volar, to fly, volar a Las Vegas es como media hora, 30 minutos, ¿no? Como
Eh,
1 hora,
60 minutos.
ok, vale. Pero es un vuelo muy corto. Desde Phoenix o hasta Las Vegas, ¿sí? Pero sí, cuando tomas un vuelo hay que llegar en el aeropuerto 2 horas antes, ¿sí? Entonces, sí, hay que hacer el check-in, hay que ah,
Un,
y
eh, un-
esperar en el avión. Y después de llegar hay que alquilar un carro o buscar un taxi o tomar algo, ¿sí? Y después de todo, sí, es casi como el mismo tiempo de manejar. Buen punto, ¿sí? Ah, bien. ¿Hay algo más con esto o no? ¿Cómo planeas un viaje? ¿Sí? ¿Cómo planeas un viaje? Mis suegros, bueno, no, mi suegra y dos de mis cuñados vienen a Phoenix en marzo, ¿sí? Al fin de marzo, y están planeando el viaje. Nosotros personalmente nunca usamos una agencia de viajes o un agente de viajes. Siempre usamos un sitio web. ¿Cómo planean ustedes un viaje? Sí, Marcos.
uso los sitios web de mis favoritas aerolíneas y hoteles.
Ah, sí,
Ah,
bien,
Sí,
bien.
también.
Ah, lo mismo, sí,
sí,
excelente.
bien.
Sí, Jean, o no.
Same, I agree.
Sí, lo mismo, lo mismo.
Lo
Ok.
mismo. Ujú.
Ah, ah, ¿hay alguien que simplemente va a una ciudad sin planear, como espontáneamente? ¿O no?
No.
¿No? Nadie. No, no.
Sí.
Cuando era niña, hace muchos años, cuando era niña, me acuerdo de viajar con mis padres y muchas veces no teníamos reservación, ¿sí? Ah, Llegábamos a una ciudad y buscábamos un hotel en la ciudad, pero eso era en los años 60. That was in the 60s, ¿sí? Sí, y era más común, creo, viajar de, al instante, sí, espontáneamente, es just a spontaneous trip, ¿sí? Ahora no lo hacemos tanto. We don't really do that so much anymore. No lo
No,
hacemos tanto, ¿verdad?
no.
Ok, vale, bien. Perfecto. Okay, we've got about the perfect amount of time for me to introduce the idea of qué en cuál. Qué en cuál. I'm going to send you a nice I'm going to send you a nice video about qué en cuál. But we're going to take a look at, we're not going to play the video during class. I'll let you watch it on your own. ¿Qué en cuál? I want to kind of just explain on my own with this little file here, which you will get in the email. ¿Qué en cuál are, actually, I'm going to create another little picture before this. Everybody tells you, correctly, I may add, correctly, that que means what and cuál is translated as which. But the truth is, uh, um, wow, sometimes our English use of what versus which is not the same as these two words in Spanish. So what I mean by that is there are cases in English where we use what, but in fact, the logical word to the Spanish speaker will not be the word what, it will be which. All right. So if you're looking at how do I translate that, the word what, sometimes in Spanish, really the right concept to use is cuál. So it's kind of it's a problematic thing for that reason. All right. The most glaring example of that is that the proper way to ask, what's your name? Well, there are many ways to ask, what's your name, right? Really, actually, ¿cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? Or politely, ¿cómo se llama usted? ¿Sí? ¿Cómo se llama usted? What's your name? But there are, if I could ever get my punctuation things right. Well, you know what I mean. Okay. ¿Cómo te llamas is one way to ask, what's your name? But really it asks, how do you call yourself? Well, that's not a logical translation. It's just the way they express it in Spanish, but you wouldn't translate it word for word. ¿Cuál es tu or cuál es su nombre? what is your name doesn't actually use the word what. Yeah. This is a problem. This is why it's difficult. Que and cuál, it's because of our use of English and because their use in Spanish is a different kind of use that this problem crops up. Okay, there are some things that might help you, however, to distinguish, and that is like detecting patterns, yeah? Uh, both verbs, I shouldn't say verbs, both words, right? Both interrogatives, let's call them what they are. They are interrogatives, they are question words. Both interrogatives, que and cuál, can be used with the verb es or the verb son. That means a form of ser, yeah? Uh, but they are slightly different. So the question ¿qué es? Which is a common question. ¿Qué es? ¿Qué es esto? What's this? ¿Qué es? Asks for a definition. The reason for using ¿qué es as a question means you don't understand what something is. You don't know the word to use to describe that thing. You don't know the translation, um, or you don't understand a situation. That's why we use que es. Que es is a question, and que is the correct question word when you don't understand something and you need an explanation, when you don't know the word for something and you need a definition. Yeah. That que es is the right question word. But cuáles, and both of them use es, or if you made the question word plural, cuáles instead of cuál, cuáles son, right? This asks you to choose something from a generic group, from a category. Okay, so it means that different options are possible from a large category of things. So let me go back. That is why in the native speaking Spanish way of thinking, because you have to do that, ¿cuál es su nombre is correct because the category nombre means Tom, Dick, or Harry. Yeah. It means there's a set number of possibilities in that category of nombre that are possible. Yeah. Uh, and so, we want you to pick out of all the possible things. It could be names for a guy, names for a gal, and one of those will make sense for you as your given name. You're picking something like that, all right? I'm going to give you another example. Uh, People might ask, ¿cuál es la capital de Canadá? ¿Cuál es la capital de Canadá? Whereas in English, we would express that as what's the capital of Canada? But in the Spanish way of thinking, capital is a set category of types of cities. And, out of all the things that are possible cities, which one is the capital? You're picking something out of a specific category. So, ¿cuál is the proper way to express that? Okay. And we don't quite, you might say which out of all the capitals, you might say in English, but you're more likely to express it in English as, what's the capital? See, Cindy.
That would be my point. How do we define then? Because there's only one answer.
Yeah.
There's only one answer.
But you're picking something out of a specific category. Okay, so let me maybe okay, and you know what? We sometimes in English we start to go through mental gymnastics with this. What classifies? Uh, what is appropriate as saying choosing something from a generic group? what qualifies as that generic group? You see where I'm going with that? If you say, what's your favorite color? You're actually the correct way to say that is not ¿Qué es su color favorito? ¿Qué es color? Asks, you don't know what the word color really signifies. ¿Qué asks for a definition? ¿Cuál es tu color or su color favorito? Because there are only a certain number of things that we classify as colors. That's why it's correctly expressed as ¿cuál es su color or cuál es tu color favorito? Right? I've only got a small group of things to choose from as favorite color. And that's why to them that makes sense. ¿Qué es? Always ask for a definition. I don't understand what something means. But ¿cuál asks you to grab something out of a group. Yeah. Okay. So here are examples that fit into this cuál es category. ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es la capital? ¿Cuál es tu color favorito? Bien, sí. ¿Cuál es tu hobby? What's your hobby? There are certain category of cleaning your bathroom is not a hobby. There's only a certain category of activities that we would consider hobbies. Yeah. Cleaning the bathroom isn't one of them. Yeah. But gardening might be a hobby, right? Stamp collecting is a hobby. Collecting music for your, electronic collection of music. That's a hobby, right? Playing an instrument is a hobby. ¿Cuál es tu hobby? ¿Cuál es tu pasatiempos favorito? See? So we're picking something out of a category, a generic category. And that is when we use cuál versus qué. That is how that happens. But there are some patterns. We can use es with either one. So that doesn't really help us. Yeah. But sometimes cuál pairs up with this idea of de. ¿Cuál de? Which one of? And that can be helpful structurally, yeah, for you to make sense of this too. Sometimes cuál pairs up with de to pick something from a group because you know that de means of or from, right? So if you're in a store kind of, deciding between two different items or three or four different items, because you're deciding on a style that you like better, or you're deciding on a color that you like better, or a pattern that you like better. ¿Cuál de estas camisetas prefieres? Which one of these t-shirts do you prefer? ¿Cuál de? So sometimes this little pattern of cuál de is helpful for you to figure out that cuál. You would never express this as que de. Que and de
Don't go.
don't go. Yeah. ¿Cuál de? Which one of these, right? Or if you use it in the plural, it could be expressed as cuáles de. Which ones of these? If they come in a pair or a group, like ¿cuáles de estos zapatos usas más? Which of these shoes do you use the most because you happen to use two shoes? So it might have to be a plural, like ¿cuáles de? ¿Cuáles de estos zapatos usas más? Which one of these shoes that are laid out in your closet do you use the most? See? Bien? Okay. So, ¿qué is used with a definition or explanation, or to get, because you don't know a definition or an explanation. And que also can pair up with a noun. And cuál is used para elegir algo del grupo. Is usually used to pick something out of a group of things that are similar, like colors, like a name, yeah, like names of cities, right? ¿Cuál es tu ciudad favorita? Favorita para las vacaciones. What's your favorite city for vacation? Because there are many cities, right? ¿Qué es la ciudad? What is the city? You're asking for a definition of something, not to pick one city out of many possible destinations. See, and pedir and cuál is also used to ask for information, like ¿cuál es tu edad? What's your age? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es su nombre? What's your name? All of those kinds of things. So we're going to kind of step through these next week as practice. But there is a very good video I'm going to send you off with to listen to, and it will explain this a little bit more, a little bit better. There's probably only one little hitch. This whole thing of que paired up with a noun is considered the absolute proper, blessed by the Academy, the Academia Real thing. But this is something that is changing as language changes. So sometimes que with a noun in Latin America, sometimes cuál with a noun will happen, but I believe they explain that in the video. And if they don't, I'll explain it next week. But we're going to step through some of these examples. And so I'm going to see, these are going to be movable kind of things. We'll see if you can guess some of these. So I want you to kind of ponder the que and cuál during the week, but you're going to ponder it a little bit harder after you watch this video, because this is going to explain things really, really well. And then you're going to get a second video that will just be for the story, for fun, for telling a story, and for making sure you can pick out ideas from listening comprehension. ¿Todo bien? All good?
Todo bien.
Todo bien. Fantastico, fantastico. If you have any other suggestions for winter session, don't forget to email me any other topics that are burning question issues that happen. ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien? Bueno,
Sí.
espero que tengan muy buena semana. I hope you have a really good week. Yeah. Y
Marilyn,
sí.
did we run out of things to
Oh,
do
no,
today?
we didn't. Gracias, thank you. 9:30. I always get my thing. 9:30. Media hora. Okay, you know what? Oh, bien. We are going to do a little bit more of this. Gracias, thank you. Wow, I almost changed you guys. That's bad. You know what? We will have time to play this. Let's play this so that you can hear this, because we're going to take this on. Okay, bien. Lo siento mucho. Sorry. Okay, ¿pueden ver?
I want to ask questions like,
Can you hear him? Sí, bien.
Yep.
Okay. I've got Monday brain. Perdón. We do have time to do this, to step through it. Yay! That means I get to do more.
what is your favorite music or which movie do you want to watch? You have an awkward choice between two Spanish question words, que versus cuál. As a Spanish teacher, I often find that students have a hard time with que and cuál because frequently these two Spanish question words don't translate as you expect they would. For example, in the opening two questions, what is your favorite music? Which movie do you want to watch? The translation of these two questions into Spanish is the opposite of what you might expect. If you want to learn how to think about que versus cuál and how to use them in your next Spanish conversation, then keep watching. Vamos. Hola a todos y bienvenidos. I'm Andrew Barr and welcome back to Real Fast Spanish. To start off with, if you look up que and cuál in a Spanish to English dictionary, you'll find that que is what and cuál is which. Now, this is okay because these translations do work sometimes, but there are two problems. Firstly, what and which aren't always obvious in English. For example, What movie do you want to watch? Which movie do you want to watch?
And that is a good, subtle thing. It's an obvious thing to us in English, if English is your first language. It is equally obvious to them in Spanish, but that doesn't always happen. So, okay, which in English really does give you that feel for you're choosing something out of a group, doesn't it? Yeah. There's something in a group. You know, you've got a bouquet of flowers, and ¿cuál es la flor más bonita? Which is the prettiest flower? See? ¿Cuál es la flor más bonita de la rama? What's the prettiest flower out of this bunch? Okay. So you kind of know you're picking something in a group there, but it won't be always as obvious in Spanish.
What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Which is your favorite ice cream flavor?
And, you know, you can pose this question both ways in English, right? What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Which is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Therefore, when it comes time to translate what and which into Spanish, you've got a difficult starting point. The other problem is that there are situations in English where what is the obvious choice, but the translation into Spanish is actually cuál, and vice versa. So what do we do instead? Well, the first question you need to ask yourself if you're trying to decide whether you need to use que or cuál is, are you going to use the Spanish verb ser, which in English is to be? So do you want to ask questions like what is or which is? If so, this leads to a simple choice in Spanish between ¿qué es or cuál es? When we ask questions starting with ¿qué es?, we're asking for a definition of something. So imagine you're having a conversation with a Spanish friend and they say a Spanish word that you've never heard of before. They say something like enganchar. And you think to yourself, I don't know this Spanish word. If you want to find out what it means, you can simply ask, ¿qué es enganchar? ¿Qué es enganchar? Now let's have a look at another example. Imagine you get home and your significant other has been cooking for you and they've left a mess all over the kitchen. And you look at this mess all over the floor and you think to yourself, what is this? In Spanish, you could say, ¿qué es esto?
That's kind of that, and that's a definition like you don't know what's happening or what has happened. ¿Qué es esto? What is going, like in English saying what's going on. This can be used to express that idea.
¿Qué es esto? Here, you've seen all this mess all over the floor and you're thinking to yourself, what is going on? This simple question, ¿qué es esto?, can help provide an answer to what has been happening in this kitchen. Note that sometimes in Spanish, colloquially, Spanish natives might ask this question in the reverse order. They might say something like this, what is it? Eso, ¿qué es? Eso, ¿qué es? Also note that we often use the neutral gender with ¿qué es? Questions because we don't know what the thing is. We're not sure if it's masculine or feminine. We have no idea. So we're going to use the neutral forms esto and eso. Now, if this...
All right, and those are just the this and that word, esto, eso, the neutral words for that. Like, what is the situation? What is happening? This or that. Esto, this, eso, that. That's not the key part of what we're looking at. We're looking at the cuál and the qué.
It's still not clear. Another way to think about ¿qué es? Questions is as the response to a question in a version of Spanish Jeopardy. Yo quiero lugares por 200. Este país está al lado de los Estados Unidos y se habla español ahí. ¿Qué es México?
Yeah, as a Jeopardy question, that's right. You're asking for a definition. ¿Qué es?
So when it comes to asking ¿qué es? Questions, you're either looking for an answer.
So, ¿qué es México? ¿Qué es México? What is Mexico? Oh, México es un país al sur de Estados Unidos. México es un país donde se habla español. Mexico is a country where Spanish is spoken. See? México es un país. It's a country. No es un continente. It is not a continent. No es una isla. It's not an island. Es un país. It's a country. ¿Qué es asks for a definition.
That you
Okay.
could possibly find in a dictionary as a definition, or you can think about this Jeopardy example. The answer to a question in Jeopardy is always going to be ¿qué es? What is something? Now, in contrast, when it comes time to asking cuál es questions, now we're not looking for a definition. We know the definition of every word in the question. We're just simply looking for an answer. So a really common question in Spanish could be, what is your name? This in Spanish is ¿cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? Note in this question that we already know what nombre means. We're not looking for a definition of what is a name. We're asking what is your name. So we have to go with ¿cuál es? Now another example might be to ask someone, what is your address? This in Spanish is ¿cuál es tu dirección? ¿Cuál es tu dirección? Note with this question that is the opposite of what you might expect. In English, we say,
Yeah. In English, you say, what is your address? But in Spanish, that is seen as a choice out of many possible locations, and you're picking one. See? Okay. Sam, do you have a question or no? Okay. Vale.
what is your address? In Spanish, we need to say, ¿cuál es? ¿Cuál es tu dirección? Now, another example might be the question we brought up at the very start of this video. What is your favorite music? This in Spanish is ¿cuál es tu música favorita?
So in English, we would say, what is your favorite music? But because it's a what is question, ¿cuál es tu música favorita? Música is a big category, yeah, of possibilities. It's not talking about somebody banging on the garbage can and making noise. It's talking about pleasant collection of sounds, coordinated. So you're picking out of many, many possible genres of music, jazz, classical, country western, pop, rap, all that kind of stuff. ¿Cuál es tu música favorita? Out of all those genres that we put into música, music, pick a type. Pick a type. And that's what the cuál es is asking. Pick a type or a genre.
¿Cuál es tu música favorita? So when it comes time to deciding between qué versus cuál, your first two options are qué es and cuál es. Now, if you're going to use any other verb in the Spanish language apart from ser, then your next two options are as follows. You could ask qué más verbo, cuál más verbo. Now, this first option, qué más verbo, is actually the easiest to translate, and it's the one where we see the least number of mistakes. So a simple question, you could ask someone, what do they want? What do they do? What do they prefer? So a simple example might be, what do you want? ¿Qué quieres? ¿Qué quieres? Or you could ask, what is going to happen? ¿Qué va a pasar? ¿Qué va a pasar? In contrast, ¿cuál más verbo is asking about a very small subset of possible answers. So for example, if you're discussing what movie you want to watch with a friend, you could say, do you want to watch the action movie or do you want to watch the romance movie? You could simply ask in Spanish, which one do you want to watch? Which one do you want to watch? This in Spanish is ¿cuál quieres ver?
¿Cuál quieres ver? Which one do you want to see? But notice how it's combined. ¿Cuál is combined with the verb. ¿Cuál is not combined with a noun. It is in some parts of Latin America, but officially what's considered totally proper. ¿Cuál quieres ver? Which one do you want to see? You provided somebody with a list of possibilities. Yeah. ¿Cuál quieres ver? Which one do you want to see? ¿Qué quieres ver? What do you want to see? Yeah. There's not a big difference, but the cuál there in the cuál quieres ver does literally translate to the English idea of which, picking out of a group. Okay? Bien.
¿Cuál quieres ver? Note that in this question, ¿cuál is asking which one? of these two options do you want to watch? So you can think of cuál más verbo as which one. Now, another example, imagine you're trying food with a friend and you want to ask them, which one do you like more? This in Spanish would be ¿cuál te gusta más? ¿Cuál te gusta más? So when it comes time to choosing between qué versus cuál, your next two options are qué más verbo, cuál más verbo. As an extension of that last example with cuál más verbo, you can also ask cuál de to list the options in the question itself. So for example, you could ask, which of these books have you read? This in Spanish is ¿cuál de estos libros has leído?
And so the structure here is really kind of the point. If you're going to use de of these books, yeah, ¿cuál de estos libros? That combination of de, it'll be cuál de. ¿Cuál de estos libros? Which one of these books? See?
¿Cuál de estos libros has leído? Or as a possible trivia question, for example, you could ask, which of Italy, Germany, and Spain has more people? This in Spanish would be, ¿cuál de Italia, Alemania y España tiene más gente? ¿Cuál de Italia, Alemania y España tiene más gente? So we can now add this use to the list as well. So we now have cuál de, which.
So cuál de is a common combo, yeah? So let me kind of point something out. Que y verbo. Que with the verb is what we're most accustomed to using, where you make almost no mistakes, right? So you immediately know how to say, what are you doing? ¿Qué haces? See? You automatically know how to ask, what do you have? ¿Qué tienes? What do you have? Yeah? What are you doing? What do you have? What are you eating? ¿Qué comes? What are you eating? Right? All those things ask for a definition. ¿Qué haces? What are you doing? Tell me what that activity is. See? ¿Qué quieres? What do you want? Give me a definition of that. Yeah. ¿Qué comes? ¿Qué comes? What are you eating? Define the thing that's on your plate. Yeah. Bien? All right. But this choice in the 1 and the 2 is where we often get messed up, because what is might be qué es and what is might be cuál es. And it depends on, am I choosing something out of a group of similar possibilities? Then cuál?
Which of
Okay,
these
so
options?
we're
The
show-
next structure
we'll
we
show
can
you
use
some
for
of these.
asking questions with que versus cuál, we also see students making a lot of mistakes with this structure, and that is que más sustantivo. So this is when you put a noun right next to the que itself. So instead of asking questions like what is or what do you prefer, you're now asking what color, what movie, what outcome do you want? Now, the most common question in Spanish that uses this structure, which you may already know, is how to ask someone the time. So in Spanish, you can say, what is the time? Or more specifically, what time is it? This in Spanish is ¿qué hora es?
And this is the combination of que with a noun. Hora, hour, is a noun. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Qué hora es? Okay. When technically, the only thing that is blessed is que with a noun. All right. Not cuál with a noun. Now I'm going to tell you, in Latin America, that kind of is going away because of just changes in the way people have used it over many, many, many years. Okay. So generally, whereas I would get my knuckles rapped by the nun in Catholic school for using que, anything other than que with a noun. Nowadays in Latin America, that is changing. But ¿qué hora es is the one thing that everybody knows that combo is asking, what time is it? And it is literally putting que next to a noun, hora. All right.
¿Qué hora es? Another example, Imagine you have a friend that's been living in lots of different countries and you want to ask a question like, what country is Elena living in? This in Spanish would be, ¿En qué país vive Elena?
So it's a combination of que with a noun, and the noun is país, country. ¿En qué país? See? If I take out the en, like, what country has polar bears? ¿Qué país? ¿Qué país tiene osos polares? What country has? ¿Qué país tiene osos polares? Right? ¿Qué país? ¿Qué combined with a noun? That's the blessed, the allowed combination that's considered correct.
¿En qué país vive Elena? So now we can add this last structure to the list. ¿Qué más sustantivo? So we now have ¿qué es? ¿Cuál es? ¿Qué verbo? ¿Cuál de? ¿Qué sustantivo? So these are your only 6 options for asking what and which questions in Spanish. So rather than trying to translate what and which into Spanish, simply look for one of these 6 structures.
So that last structure, I do want to tell you, in Latin America, this, what is considered proper, que, with a noun, this is changing a little bit in usage in Latin America. You will sometimes in Latin American varieties of Spanish hear cuál with a noun. So instead of ¿qué país tiene osos polares? What country has polar bears? You might, from a Latin American, hear ¿cuál país tiene osos polares? Do know that this number 6 es flexible. It is flexible depending on the region you're in. So know that. An already sticky subject of do I use que or do I use cuál gets a little murkier with que with a noun. All right. What is considered proper by the, let's say, Nazi grammar school is only supposed to be que with a noun. But in fact, in practice, that que with a noun in Latin America is changing so that people sometimes use cuál with a noun. That's just a usage thing depending on the country you are in, and that can be a little bit sticky. But there are some things that help us. So we're going to go through some examples of this so that you've got a little foundation to go on. And we're going to do some of these examples together. I'm going to have you do some of them as the timeout. See, question?
Marilyn,
Sí.
I was doing pretty good until the last one, and I was comparing it in my mind with the other thing from this that I was struggling with. So there were 2 examples we just went through. One was just now, in what country is whoever living?
Elena.
And then earlier today there was what is the capital of Canada?
Yeah, see.
What city? Now, in my mind, the first one we did the capital of Canada. It was like, and you explained it as we use cuál because you're choosing out of like all the cities out there. And it struck me, I'm struggling if that's the correct interpretation. I'm struggling a little with the last thing we just did because it sounded like you'd be choosing out of all the countries out there, which one is Elena living?
Right.
Yet
Okay.
one you said we use cuál and the other we use que.
Let me show you some things. There are certain rules with this which get really confusing. What you want to know is, how do I ask the question? All right. And yet this question of what is something is such a fundamental and frequently asked question. Okay. So let's go with the Canada example. See? Que structure, how you combine words may determine whether cuál or que is a better choice? That's not going to be comfortable, but I'm going to show you something here. ¿Sí? ¿Qué país? ¿Qué país tiene osos polares? What country has polar bears? Right? That is using what plus what plus a noun. Ah. All right. But, what plus a noun is considered kind of sacred, but in Latin America, people will violate that. They don't see it as violating it. It's just that the usage of the language is changing regionally as time moves on because of the practices of the people who live there. Yeah. But I could change the structure, and then the better choice might become cuál. I'm going to show you how. ¿Cuál es el país que tiene muchos osos polares? Now, I'm asking you to choose out of the category of países, countries, not cities, not villages, not continents, but countries. Pick out of many possible countries, countries that have polar bears. ¿Cuál es? And the structure that determines my change from using que versus this is, it's the structure. ¿Cuál es? Which one is? Pick it out of the group.
¿Cuál es?
This is what leads to our mental gymnastics. Because we start injecting what we perceive as logic that everybody uses, and shouldn't they use that?
So Marilyn, are you saying maybe like in the very last thing about the question was effectively what country does Elena live in? If it had been phrased as ¿Cuál es el país que Elena vive? That would be right, but I think in the actual video it said ¿Qué país?
Sí, they use it
qué
as en
país?
qué país, en qué país. You're less likely to hear cuál there. I'm trying to think of how I would jerry rig that. See? En, no, en qué país? In what country? En qué ciudad? What city does somebody live in? There's a common thing you ask about a lot. ¿En qué ciudad? ¿En qué ciudad vive tu amiga Elena? Sí, bien. ¿En qué ciudad vive tu amiga Elena? These are examples where que plus a noun, ciudad. Que plus país. Yeah, a noun. Que plus a noun is a super common structure. Let me go back to this common personal question. ¿Cuál es tu color favorito? ¿Cuál es tu color favorito? ¿Cuál es? ¿Cuál es? Which one is? There are many things considered colors. There's a certain set, finite number of possibilities that are in that great big category we call colores. ¿Cuál es? Which one is? Okay? But if I switch the structure around, and if I do it as combining something with the actual noun color, que might be more appropriate. Like, por ejemplo, ¿qué color prefieres? What color do you prefer? Because I'm pairing up a question word with a noun, color, que is considered the actual proper thing. Now, I'm going to tell you, in Latin America, you will sometimes hear this used for the same question. ¿Cuál color prefieres? Which color do you prefer? And technically, it is not considered okay. And I'm sorry, I cannot get my punctuation marks right with a different keyboard all the time. It is not technically by the Real Academia blessed as a proper thing to combine cuál with a noun. I get my fingers wrapped in high school for that. But in point of fact, in Latin America, you will hear people combining que with a noun, which is not considered technically correct, but by usage, people do it. Okay? So in Spain, that would sound a little off because they consider this to be the only proper thing. In Latin America, you might hear either ¿qué color or cuál color prefieres? You might hear it expressed either way. Okay? Just saying, that might happen. But this is considered the one that is blessed because que is properly used with a noun, not cuál with a noun. So, but if the structure is not right next to the noun is es, then really the only correct response is, or the correct question is ¿cuál es tu color favorito? Because color favorito, you're picking out of a palette of colors. You're picking one out of that group. That's the way they look at it. This does not really, it does not jive well with what you may consider logic, as in mathematical logic. It doesn't. It is their usage of what they do. So the structure, cuál with es, it's not a definition, it's a choice. Yeah, out of a group, not a definition. That's why it's cuál es, right? This structure of que next to, right in front of a noun is considered grammatically more correct.
Okay. Okay.
It's a structure. The structure may determine whether que or cuál is considered the better choice. Okay, so let me go to one other quick choice before I send you off properly. And I forgot, my time clock and my brain is totally screwed up. This question of ¿qué música? ¿Qué música? ¿Qué música escuchas? What music do you listen to? Que, when it's combined with a noun, música is considered the correct thing because it's the structure of que next to a noun. It's the structure that determines that. ¿Qué música escuchas? ¿Sí? ¿Qué música escuchas? But if I ask, ¿cuál es tu música favorita? right?
Yeah.
It's the structure of cuál es and choosing a type of genre of music out of a group that is considered correct. ¿Cuál es? So, okay. I'm going to send you off with things to practice for that. I'm
Okay.
going to look for a little website that might give you immediate feedback too, because I
Okay.
think that would be helpful for people. Do know that sometimes this whole thing of the structure might determine whether using que or using cuál is considered proper, right? This question of ¿cuál es tu música favorita? We're not asking for you, what is music? I'm a deaf person and I don't understand what music is. Yeah? It's not that. I'm asking you to pick something out of different styles or types of music. Does that make a little more sense?
Yeah.
Okay. ¿Cuál es that structure of using S and not asking for a definition, but saying make a choice? But once I take that and make it a combination of what with a noun, it's considered more proper to combine que with a noun if they're right next to each other. It's the structure. Does that make a little
Okay.
more sense? See,
Yes.
you can
Sí.
sometimes ask a question for the same idea in general, but that structure of how the question is framed might make a difference. Okay? See?
Sí.
I'm going to find a little, because I'm pretty sure there is one website, or a couple of websites I can look at, where it'll give you some immediate feedback, and then it'll make more sense to maybe go into some of the exercises that I have devised for you for the week, to kind of figure that out later on, where you don't get the feedback answer right away. So do the feedback page first, and then look at this site that has some little exercises. See? Bien?
Okay.
It
Bien.
can be a confusing thing, but we're looking at it because we looked at question words and, donde doesn't cause confusion. Where? Right? Cuando doesn't cause confusion, right? But this question of que versus cuál often causes confusion. So we're looking at a little longer and more deep dive. See? Bien?
Bien.
That
Bien.
you'll get the storytelling that won't have to do with any grammar, but just listen for the story, and that's it. See, and now it is 11. Sí, son las 11. Sí, son las 11. Gracias. Thank you for getting me out of my mental funk. Okay. Vale. Bueno.
Adiós.
Gracias.
Y nos vemos. Nos vemos. I'll see you guys later.